Hi guys, and welcome to Debbie's Rusty Brush. I'm Deborah Straight. I'm the owner and artist here. If you're new here, I hope you hang out a while and consider subscribing to my channel. If you're an old hand here, thank you for supporting me, and I'm glad that you're back. Today what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick little hen study. I will speed this up so that you don't have to watch the whole thing, but, well, watch it in real time. But I will do a voiceover tutorial so that you see how we paint this. It's on a 6x6 by 1/2 inch canvas, and it's just got a little abstract background to it. So we use oil pastels on the background and then chalk paint on the rest of the painting. So if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, hit the little bell notification so you always get notified when I upload a video. Comments are always welcome. I try to go through and answer. Also, if you have anything that you would like to have me paint or try to paint, of course in my style, don't expect ultra realism. I would be glad to give that a try. Whether it is a fail or it is a success, I will go ahead and upload the video. So some of those could get a little funny. All right, so without further ado, let's hop into this hen. Alright guys, so what we're doing here is we're just taking a little bit of oil pastel. Use any color you want. I'm using ultramarine blue here, and I'm just heating it with my hairdryer a little bit so that I can rub it in and have it be just a little more in the tooth of the canvas. And I'm doing the same thing with some lime green. No rhyme, no reason to the design that I decided to use. Again, heating up, rubbing it in. I do decide that I'm going to go ahead and put a little lime green up in the corner above the hen, and I am leaving the rest of this canvas unprimed, untouched, adding a little more blue there. It will be sealed in the end, so I don't feel the need to put white where I would be putting white. Now after I get this done, I am going to be using a stencil brush. They are a little stiffer, so it works better for this, and I'm going to take this is French Millinery, and I am going to just be splattering the canvas with that. Now you can cover up the where you have drawn your hen if you don't want the splatters in there. I'm not too concerned. I can still see my drawing, so I'm leaving it in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and go in with some white. I did not clean my brush, so some of it's going to be white, some will have just a little bit of French Millinery mixed in. Alright, and so now that I have that done, I'm just going to take a paper towel and knock down the where the splatters did go in my hen. I don't care that the color is there, I don't want the texture from it in that part of it. So I'm just knocking down that texture. Now we're going to go in with some Cardinal Red from DIY and just do the comb on our hen here. And I'm trying to do this very loose, very painterly. I don't want this to be real sharp edges and such. I just want to do this very quick and have it be kind of painterly. It helps if you use a bigger brush when you're trying to do that, but on these 6x6s, everything's so small, it is really hard to use a bigger brush and to get detail at all. And I do want some detail. But I just want it to look very flowy. So here we did the wattle and the little cheekbone, and now I'm going in with Summer Crush. It's a pretty orange color, and I'm going to go ahead and put in some feathers here. Sorry about my dog, she's a little noisy. And then I'm going in with some Sandy Blonde, and I'm mixing this. I did not clean my brush. I am mixing this with the orange. I will go back and forth between Sandy Blonde and the orange. I want the Sandy Blonde down the chest, but I do want the orange to come in down through the neck area into the top of the breast. There again, I want it to kind of look like there are feathers and that it's nice and loose. And so I'm not being too particular about my brush strokes. And now we're going to go in and put in this wing area. I am using Bohemian Blue and spritzing a little with water there, and that helps lighten the color up some. And so I'm just going to cover this again very painterly with the Bohemian Blue, and then I'm going to go in with some Farm Fresh. It's in the same shade but much lighter, and so now I'm going in with some darker Bohemian Blue, and then we'll lighten it with some Farm Fresh, and we'll just get a look of some feathers and some different movement in the wing area there. Alright, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to work with the breast a little bit more. I want to bring it down a little bit further into that wing area and add in some little feathers that kind of stick out. And then I want to go in and bring in some more of that orange down here into the sandy blonde, so that I have that movement up through those feathers as well. Then we're going to take some black and start doing our tail feathers. Here again, I just not paying much attention to my brush stroke other than trying to make sure it's going in the direction that I want the feathers to go. And I'm just getting the color on the canvas and being very lackadaisical with my strokes. I just want to get it covered and get those feathers going in a way that I want them to go. And then we're going to pull in some white, which will, with the black, mix into a gray, and we'll mix that right on the canvas. Now my white is going to be a Dixie Belle fluff, and I'm using Dixie Belle because it's right on my table and handy there. And so I'm going to mix in, and I'm going to get white, black, and gray, and never really any pure white. It will be more gray and black, and I'll just play back and forth between these colors until I get what I like. So I just want it to look like they're feathers, and I want it to look as though there's movement. So I add in some of the white, and then I add some of the dark back in. I want that corner down there to be very dark. And so I just want there to look like there's movement and shadows and lights in the feathers on her little hiney there. All right, and so now I'm going to take, again, this is, I'm just going to put some white on the beak here. I don't want the splatters to come through on the beak, so I do want to give it a primer coat. And then I'm going to take Sandy Blonde, which is also a Dixie Belle color. Oh, sorry, not Sandy Blonde, Sandbar. It's a Dixie Belle color. I'm going to put it on here on the little face where the eye is going to be. And then, because I wanted something lighter than the Sandy Blonde, and then I'm going to mix in some Cardinal Red into that. Just on the canvas itself is where I'm doing my mixing. I just want it to have that little bit of red in there, because a lot of times they will have a kind of a blush skin tone right there where their wattle meets up to their little face. So I just used some Cardinal Red and some Sandbar. And now I'm going back in with the Sandy Blonde and the Summer Crush, just to give the feathers around the face so that it's not a solid line. I want that to be very painterly. Now, as you can tell, when I spray the water, you can see how much more alive those colors become when they're wet. They will do that when they're sealed as well. Chalk paint, clay-based paint will dry lighter, but when you seal them, they will go back to their normal color. So when I mist, it gives me an idea of what I will be looking at with the finished product. Now I'm going in and I'm putting in the eye. I'm going in with a little bit of brown and the Summer Crush orange because I want the eye to not just be a little black dot. I want it to have some life to it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there, and then I'm going to put a little black right in the center and right over and right under the eye, just to give some definition. And then we will take just a dot of white and put in the eye there. And then I'm gonna once again go over the beak with some white, and then I'm gonna take a little black in there to make it gray. So we're shading the top of the beak, and we're putting the little line in from the top part of the beak to the bottom part of the beak. And then I decided that I'm gonna go in with a little bit of faded burlap in there because I needed a little more color than the white was giving me. And a faded burlap is a very light tan color, and so I'm mixing that with the black to get just a little bit of the shading on there. And then I decided that it needed just a little bit of color, and so I mixed down some summer, the bright yellow, and I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, and I just mixed that down into a watered down consistency. I washed it over, and then I blotted it off so there's just a touch of color. Now I'm going to go ahead and frame out in the light blue. This is Prom Queen, and I'm just going to frame out around our canvas because I don't want to carry the painting all the way around to the edges of this canvas. So I'm going to do all of the edges in this light blue, and I'm going to frame out the front in the light blue. And I'm just doing this with a palette knife, and just making sure that I've got some coverage. This will have some texture. A little bit of water helps it to smooth out a little bit and go a little further. And so that was the bottom, and then we will go all the way around the rest of the top and the sides. So there you have it, guys. That was just a real quick little study and doing a hen. I did draw her out on the canvas prior to starting to just give me an idea of where I wanted her, the size I wanted her, to get some features in there. I did decide after stopping the video, I showed you guys I was going to go ahead and do the sides all in this blue, and I wasn't planning to do this side of her, but it looked a little funny without actually framing the whole thing out in our light blue. So I did go ahead and frame out the entire canvas with that. And I like doing these little 6x6s. They're pretty quick to do. I have fun. I get to practice on things. And so I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, again, share with your friends, give me a thumbs up, comments always welcome, and as always, thanks for hanging out with me. Bye-bye.